Hi everybody, welcome to Home Smart Buyers. Inspector Tom. Starting foundation. Super excited about this. Obviously, it's important because your whole house sits on it. Going to break it into three components. Today we're going to be talking about forms. Know that when it comes to forms, that if the form is not level, your foundation won't be level. So we're going to get into how you can make sure that your foundation is level. I use the Zip Level Pro B 75 foot Extreme 2000, whatever it is, I don't know. You're not going to want to drop $1,000 for this thing. So I'm going to show you how to get the same basic result. A couple gallons of water, duct tape, some red. I chose red. You can pick any color you want. Known to the state of California to cause cancer. And then some tubing. All said and done, I spent $30, and I'm going to figure out if this framework, if these forms are level, and it's a great place to start. So, you're busy, I'm busy, let's get rolling. So it's really tough to overstate the importance of foundations, because at the end of the day, you get to it and get things corrected before the cement gets poured, or it's not getting fixed, without jackhammers and chaos and anarchy and generally bad things happening to get these things fixed. And so this is about details. So the forms, the IRC doesn't have a whole lot to say, the International Residential Code. What the IRC says is basically they need to be stable and they need to withstand the cement pouring activity. And that's not the exact language, but you get the point. And they give a list of acceptable materials, like 7 or 8 different materials. Everybody uses wood. So there's not a lot being said about forms. So you want to avoid a couple of things. You want to have them level, you want to have them braced, and you want to avoid spillovers or spill outs, right? Where concrete just kind of gushes out from the bottom. That's an unintended consequence. Happens a lot, and good form work will fix all that. So let's get into the specifics of the leveling. First thing I'd say is foundations aren't level. They're not. I've measured a lot, and I have yet to find one that's perfectly level. So are there acceptable standards? Like, can it be off 0.6 inches or 1.8? There are no specific standards that say this is a problem and that's okay. But what I would say start with the forms. Forms are level, you stand a much better chance of being okay with this thing. Know that if it does end up where your foundation's not perfectly level, your builder, primarily framers, they're going to make adjustments. They do that. That's part of their job. Okay, let's make a water level. First, only the finest filtered tap water available. Put some red food coloring into it. There we go. My teeth just aren't doing it. God dang. Leaking? Boy, that pisses me off. That's kind of how. That's nasty. Look like a crime scene. All right, good. Set this down. Got that on Amazon. Now know that I got a smaller diameter tubing. This case it's 3/8 of an inch because I'm cheap. The only difference between a larger diameter tubing and a more narrow diameter tubing is that the water will have a longer period of time where it kind of takes to level out with the narrow tubing. That's it. You can use any gauge you want. And I grabbed 100 feet. I'm doing a little house back here. I could have easily done a much smaller tube length of tubing. I could have done a much smaller length of tubing because this house It is probably 1,450 square feet. Come on. There we go. There we go. Come on. I don't hate you. I don't hate you. Come on. That was a damn career move. Good Lord. I'm going to knock over that red friggin' water. Just make a god-awful mess. All right. Time for some duct tape. Oh, you prick. Oh, come on. Oh, what is wrong with you? Why do you hate me? Oh, you prick. Prick. All right. So, beautiful work. Beautiful. Take the majority of the hose, stick it down below the water level on that thing, and pretend you're back in college hitting hookah. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Okay. All right, so thing's filling up. It is. Come on. It's doing its thing. Gravity is going to take care of the rest and fill this thing up. I don't know that I stuck that hose down far enough. We'll figure that out here pretty quick, won't we? It takes much longer for the red water to make it through the tube than you'd ever imagine. Like, it's a process. Come on, Pokey. Oh, that's sped it up greatly. Okay. Come on, friend. Almost there. Getting ready. Getting ready. Here we go. Here we go. It's happening. Near the end. Near the end. Near the end. Near the end. Come on. Here it comes. Oh, getting there. Getting there. Almost to the end. Takes a minute to get the bubbles out. So filling a 100-foot, 3/8 inch tube up with red water takes measurably longer than I thought it would. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and draw a line right here, draw a line right here. I'm going to make this part perfectly flush with the top of the form. I'm going to pick a corner, northwest corner. I'm going to put this right there, and that's my baseline. Everything will be measured against that. Let's get going. So I've grabbed some garbage, stacked it up, got it in a pile, made my reservoir, my water height, exactly at the top of this form. This part of the form is now my baseline. Everything's being measured against it, plus or minus. Every 10 feet around the perimeter, I'm gonna stop, take a measurement, take some notes. Let's go do some measurements. So I'm 10 feet away from the baseline area, and it's measuring out perfectly level. And it takes a minute for the water level to settle down because I'm using smaller diameter gauge vinyl tubing. But yeah, it's perfectly level, like right on the money. I'm just going to keep doing the same thing every 10 feet. So how do you measure how far wrong it is from being level? Well, if the water level, so you've got your line drawn on your tubing, if the water is, let's say, that far above it, well then you know that your form is about that far lower than it should be. Now, if the water level is below it, then you know that your form is, whatever you measure it to, is that far above it. So it's the exact opposite. But all you're doing is taking a tape measure and you're comparing it to that line that you've drawn on your tubing, and whatever that is, that's how far off your form is. It's pretty simple. So let me talk about phase one inspections, and every inspector will call them different things, right? But this is typically referred to as a phase one, and it's the pre-pour. Prior to the concrete being poured, your inspector, your third-party inspectors out there taking a look at this stuff, and they're doing the measurements for you, right? You don't need to mess around with this stuff. They're out and they're doing the measurements, and they're doing all kinds of other really important stuff that you're going to see in the next two videos, which is how is the foundation built, right? Is it a post-tension rod? Do they use the chairs? Is it properly tied off? Are the forms setting in the right location? Are the depth of the channels the right place? Are they the right depth? Is there a 6 mil? Like, it goes on, right? Your inspector is going to do all that stuff. Good information, because like I said before, the concrete gets poured. You're not unwinding this thing. And it is what it is until somewhere down the road you're dealing with some of the problems that can be caused by things not getting caught right now. So one last comment is, if you work with a third party, or if you're going to go out and do some of the measurements, I'm telling you right now, this is the way it tends to go down. The builder may say, yep, the trucks are coming on Thursday, they're pouring concrete on Thursday, everything's form set up, you want to be out there by Monday or Tuesday to make sure that it's correct. Lo and behold, you get there on Monday or Tuesday, concrete's already down and poured, and that bell has been rung and you can't unring it. So one of the things that I really am excited for you about is that you're watching this early in the build process. And one of the things that you're able to do is you're going to be able to take some very specific information about foundation and what the IRC has to say about it. But you're going to be able to take some of these standards. You're going to be able to look at the home that's being built for you and go back to your builder. And I'm telling you, you've changed the relationship with your builder. One, you're actively engaged. And they know that you're creating a digital record and that you're communicating and you're retaining all that stuff. Number two is that you're going to catch things. So guess what? They're sending the best team that they've got out to your house. And at the end of the day, that's what you want. You want that builder sitting in a construction trailer going, I got my A team, I got my B team, and I got my C team. Well, these folks over here are actively engaged in the building process. I need to send my A team. That's how you get a great house. So, really excited for you.